In the quiet heart of the city, where neon signs bleed into the rain-slicked streets, a lone figure moves. Not a ghost, not a memory, but something forged in the crucible between them. Here, in the hollow echo of an abandoned warehouse, a man trains. His name is whispered in the underworld like a forbidden prayer. John Wick. The light above is harsh, unforgiving, and it traces the stories etched into his skin. Each scar is a chapter, a testament to a life lived on the razor's edge. His breath is a rhythm, a steady drumbeat against the silence of the night. Sweat traces pats down his temples, dripping from his chin to the cold concrete floor. Each drop a tiny, percussive echo of his relentless effort. He moves with a deadly grace, a brutal ballet of controlled violence. Every punch, every kick, every fluid transition from one combat stance to another is precise, economical, and lethal. This is not just training. It is a hituao, a constant honing of a weapon that is both his body and his will. The air crackles with the force of his movements. The sharp snap of his strikes a stark contrast to the city's distant, sleeping hum. He is a predator in his natural habitat, a place of shadows and hard surfaces, where the only law is survival and the only language is pain. But this pain is not his enemy. It is his oldest companion, the architect of his existence. It has shaped him, molded him, and given him a focus that borders on the supernatural. As he moves, the present begins to fracture. The sterile light of the warehouse flickers, and for a moment, it's not concrete he sees, but the crimson-stained floors of a past he can never escape. Memories bleed through the veil of time, unbidden and sharp as shrapnel, a flash of gunfire in a crowded nightclub, the glint of a knife in a dark alley, the cold, final stare of a man whose life he has just taken. These are the ghosts that haunt him, the specters of his former life. The life of the Baba Yaga, the bogeyman, the man you send to kill the bogeyman. Each memory is a phantom limb, an ache for a past he both craves and loathes. The violence is a blur, a whirlwind of motion and consequence that he replays in his mind, not with regret, but with a detached, analytical precision. But then, the storm of violence subsides, and a different kind of memory emerges, soft and warm. A woman's laughter echoing in a sunlit room. The gentle touch of a hand on his cheek. The simple, profound peace of a shared glance over a morning coffee. Helen, her name is a sanctuary in the war zone of his mind. These moments of tenderness are oases in the desert of his past, fragments of a life he was allowed to borrow. A life where he was not the Baba Yaga, but simply John. The contrast is jarring, a dissonance that plays out within him every single day. The man who could kill with his bare hands, and the man who held his wife's hand as she slipped away. The two are inseparable, two halves of a whole, and it is this duality that defines him, that fuels his solitary ritual in this warehouse. He pushes himself harder, the physical exertion, a desperate attempt to outrun the ghosts. His knuckles are raw, his muscles scream in protest, but he does not stop. To stop is to let the memories consume him entirely. The training is his anchor, the one constant in a world of loss and chaos. It is a language he understands, the discipline that keeps the darkness at bay. He is a man at war with himself, his body a battlefield where the past and present collide with brutal force. He fights not for glory, not for money, not for revenge anymore, but for something far more fundamental: control. Control over his body, control over his grief, control over the monster that slumbers within, unseen from the deepest corners of the warehouse. Shadows watch. They are not part of the building's structure. They are living, breathing entities, figures concealed by the darkness. They observe his every move, their presence a silent, ominous confirmation that no matter how far he runs, the underworld is always there, lurking at the periphery. Its tendrils are long, its memory even longer. They watch him not as a man, but as a legend, a force of nature that they both fear and covet. His supposed retirement was a myth, a fairy tale the underworld told itself to sleep better at night. But they know that a man like John Wick can never truly be free. The world he helped build will always find a way to pull him back in. The shadows are patient. They are collectors of secrets, brokers of violence. They see the scars, they hear the ragged breaths, and they recognize the coiled power in his movements. To them, he is not just a retired assassin. He is an asset, a problem, a key that could unlock untold chaos or restore a fragile balance. His isolation is a temporary state, a lull before the inevitable storm. His re-emergence into their world is not a question of if, but when. And they will be there, waiting in the wings, ready to either harness his rage or be consumed by it. For now, they simply watch their silent vigil, a testament to the gravity he exerts on their world, even in his absence. Back on the warehouse floor, John's movements begin to slow. The physical exhaustion is setting in, but it's a different kind of fatigue that finally brings him to a halt. His chest heaves, his body slick with sweat. He stands motionless in the center of the vast, empty space. A solitary island in a sea of shadows. The harsh light casts a long, distorted silhouette behind him, a dark twin that mimics his stillness. The city outside remains indifferent, its distant sirens a mournful song for a world he no longer belongs to. In this moment of quiet, the dam he has so carefully constructed begins to crack. A single memory breaks through, clearer and more potent than the others. It's not the violence, not the love, but something in between. A look, a promise. A final gift that was meant to be a new beginning but became an ending. The memory of a puppy, a symbol of hope, and a final, desperate connection to the life he lost. And then the image that followed, the casual cruelty, the thoughtless violence of arrogant young men who took that last piece of his peace away from him. It wasn't just a car they stole or a dog they killed. They had desecrated a sanctuary. They had reawakened the ghost. His posture changes. It's a subtle shift, almost imperceptible. But the energy in the room plummets, growing colder, heavier. His head lifts slowly, and the camera pushes in, moving past the sweat, past the scars, until it finds his eyes. And in their depths, something dangerous stirs. The flicker of grief that was always present is consumed by a new flame. An old flame It is the cold, focused fire of the Baba Yaga. The pain that made him human has been twisted, reforged into the very thing that makes him a monster. The man is gone, and in his place is a purpose, a reckoning. The past is no longer just a memory, it is a weapon, and John Wick is about to use it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more.